Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Fanboy Philly Reviews. Today we're going to talk about the movie Clerks. This movie became a favorite of mine while I was in college. Also directed by a man who became one of my favorite directors of all time, Kevin Smith. This movie was introduced to me by a friend of mine in college. I'd never heard of the movie before I watched it, didn't know anything about it. Um, First time I watched it, I didn't know what to think about it. I wasn't sure I liked it the first time. Mainly because it was a black and white film and an independent film. I wasn't really big on either one. So I gave it a second try. And paid more attention to the story, the writing, the characters, and the way that it was written. It was a very well done movie. Because I put all the prejudices aside from before, and the interaction between the characters was tremendous. It was almost like sitting in on a conversation between me and my own friends with the way that they interacted. That's how we talked. The story was about two guys that were at work, one worked in a convenience store, one worked in a video store, that were side by side, and they were run by the same people. And so there was a lot of interaction between the two. They'd go back and forth between the two stores. And it was all about a day in the life of these two guys and how they interacted with the customers that came in and out throughout the day. And if you've worked in retail or food service or in any way dealing with customers, you really understand this movie. This movie will speak to you. As a young theater major at the time, going through all the different classes that I was going through the acting, directing, stage managing, all of that, I became very interested in this movie because it was made by a brand new director, brand new writer, brand new actors, all of the above. And I've learned about a new aspect of filmmaking and video making and was introduced to the director's commentary. And I sat and watched the director's commentary after the first couple times I watched the movie. And I got a little bit of insights into the movie from the aspect of the director and the actors that were making the movie. I learned a lot about the movie making aspects of Clerks and found that the movie was made on a budget that consisted of how many credit cards Kevin Smith could get in order to get this film made. So he basically bet his future on this one film. So it was a make or break situation for him. And after he got the funding for it, he would film the movie after hours at work, where they would lock up, close the shades, which became part of the movie, and they would film overnight, doing rewrites, recuts, all of this, while the store was closed. And then he would work the next day, and he would go back and forth with all of this just to get this film made. And I was so impressed by this as a theater student who was learning my craft at this point, that I wanted to see more. So I followed the career of Kevin Smith, and I've seen all of his movies except for two or three. Zack and Mary Make a Porno and Red State, which I will still go back and see, and I will cover on this channel. And not only did I follow Kevin Smith's career, but I also began to watch other directors that I had not really paid attention to before. One of which is Quentin Tarantino. And I became a big fan. Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, which Reservoir Dogs is one of my favorite films as well. Pulp Fiction is good. Reservoir Dogs became a very, very big movie for me, and it was one of my favorites. Very well acted. One of my favorite actors is in it, Tim Roth. So I was introduced to other directors and other film styles just by watching Clerks as an independent film. I just, grew up son of a Southern Baptist minister, so my views on everything were very, very, very minuscule. And as I got into college, my mind became more open, and I was experiencing a whole lot more ideas and the ways of looking at things and ways of creating new ideas. And Clerks was one of the things that helped starting with that, and all of Kevin Smith's movies. Dogma, which I will cover later. And like I said before, I will be covering old and new movies both. I'm a movie lover, all kinds, especially superhero movies. Very big on Batman. Batman's my favorite superhero. I'll be covering most of those. As a matter of fact, in my next episode, I will be covering The Flash, the one that just came out this past year. I've already watched it, got everything, got a bunch of ideas to talk about with that, things that I've noticed, and really looking forward to it. So check it out when it comes out. And if you like this video, please subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for stopping by. See you next time.